Howdy, I'm Charlie. I'm on the MSc Exercise Physiology program, and I've been asked to answer a few questions about why it is I chose that course and continued into postgraduate education. I specifically chose the course in exercise physiology because, with a background in nutrition and a career background in fitness marketing, personal training and boxing coaching, I identified that I had a somewhat lack of knowledge in lab-based practices, and somebody who takes my career quite seriously and really genuinely wants to offer people the best information, I thought I'd best go and get myself educated on the subject. I can't pretend I'd planned on doing a master's for a very long time. It was, and I'm not joking about, a 1 month decision process between when I saw the opportunity, saw the course, applied for the course, and then started the course. It was actually because my partner was looking to develop her career, and I'm always someone who pushes further development. I've pursued many certificates, qualifications outside of university in order to continually develop, follow that CPD, continue professional development, which is very important for anybody working in clinical practice especially. And I said, well, why don't you have a look at a master's course rather than, starting at the bottom and building a new career path by level 2 and level 3 qualifications. So we started looking into master's courses for her, and then I thought to myself, well, I wonder if there's anything in the realm of sports science. I've always wanted to do my PhD. It's an area I've always been interested in. It's the area I've been working in the most. I wonder what there is. Also, in helping my partner Abby, in trying to help her find out what course she wanted to do, I said it's worth looking at sponsorships and scholarships and additional funding sources, because we both work full-time and we don't have any additional financial support. So it's a factor we really have to consider quite strongly. You really have to think about whether or not you're going to go back to university. While looking into sponsorship options for Abby, I actually saw one she wasn't eligible for, but I was. And being an alumni, I also get a pretty good discount, as people who are alumni already will be aware of. And that was actually quite a large factor of what drove me to return to university. I can confidently say that if those financial support options hadn't have been available, I probably wouldn't be doing the course. However, I would be lamenting the fact that I wasn't doing the course, and I would really want to. I did originally want to do a research master's. However, I was also 3 or 4 years out of my previous degree, and I think it was the better option going for a taught master's instead. I'm sure everyone's in the same boat when you're getting assessed on things that you haven't done since first year, except, my first year was 8 years ago. So a lot of that information has unfortunately been filed away, and having a lecturer available to kind of teach the information to you and explain it, and also a lecturer I could go to and ask questions of, is very, very handy. And in retrospect, I think I'm quite glad that I'm doing a taught master's instead, knowing that I know what I'm saying and being willing to challenge myself. A lot of us like to think we know things, but we don't challenge it regularly enough. And I can't confidently sit in front of someone and tell them what to do with their life if I can't confidently reference the research and the science behind what I'm telling them. Has it changed my career plans? I don't know. Before starting the Masters, I had, built up Union Jab, which is my current company, which is a social benefit company. We're a community interest company now, which is essentially one below a charity, and a lot of our work is working with groups that typically wouldn't exercise. We work with at-risk groups, special needs groups, and a lot of adults who have trouble with exercise. Having extra knowledge in another area has certainly opened up an avenue for me. I've considered opening a testing lab or becoming more involved in professional sport, but to be honest, another part of me just wants to be a lorry driver or a mechanic. So I'm not the best person to ask about what I plan on doing in 6 months' time. I would be better off asking me then. It's certainly very, very handy to have the certificate to say, no, I actually do know what I'm talking about, and this university says so. It's very, very useful for that reason. Transferable skills, definitely. I've learned a lot more about critical evaluation, how to structure research, how to organise research, but from a pragmatic and practical point of view. I've always loved asking questions and finding answers to them. However, coming from industry, you're not held to the same level of accountability that you would be at a university. I don't need an ethics approval to be able to do the research that I want to do. However, you definitely should get it, and there is a reason that process is in place, and if you go to a university, that process is already in place. Not only that, you can get support from lecturers, you can get support from supervisors, you can email people and ask for ideas, you can have brainstorming. There are other like-minded students on my course, and all of them have got brilliant individual backgrounds and experiences in different sports, different qualifications, and having that opportunity to bounce off each other is very, very handy. I think also, myself being autistic, I struggle with a lot of the social dynamics outside of professional practice, and being in an environment where I'm no longer at the front of the group and instead part of the group is quite handy, because it's allowed me to work on those skills, to be able to discuss things, talk about things, bounce ideas backwards and forwards, disagree, agree. It certainly helps in that ability to work as part of a team and develop things as a team, which is very important, especially for someone like myself who's used to doing everything what they want, when they want, and ideally getting it done yesterday. It's a handy skill to be working to other people's deadlines and to be working with other people on projects that aren't 100% yours. Do I think I'm becoming a specialist in my area? Definitely. My area, however, has not been defined by me. It's been defined by practice. In my first qualification, I started a company called Know How Nutrition. Of course, I was studying nutrition and specialised in biochemistry and physiology, and it was a company that focused on teaching the science behind nutrition, because we all know what to do, but very few people know how. As part of that, I ran charity projects based in growth and recyclability and environmental factors, and I identified I definitely didn't want to be a lab rat. I then decided just to take the diploma and not bother doing the dissertation. Moved over to Newcastle University after that business completely failed, crashed and burned, and I pursued a degree in nutrition and marketing. On that degree, I started a boxing company, and I learned a lot more about marketing, brand management, and developed specialist skills in that area, and fortunately went on to build a career in marketing. When I left that, I really just wanted to continue helping people on the ground level, as I had multiple times. And I brought back Union Jab, although this time it was a lot more based in community benefit. I realised that I was applying my research knowledge in a very different way to how I thought I might. I don't work with professional athletes, I don't work with sports teams, and I don't particularly have an interest in it either. Therefore, my specialist area is consistently being guided from practice. It's not being guided from being told that this is the area I could or should or have to work in. It just gives me the skill sets, I do the work, and over time I've identified the area in which I'm going to continue to work. Fortunately, this course, unlike other courses that I've been on for that matter, it is not guiding the hand, and there is actually a huge amount of breadth in the topics covered, and I would really recommend people to look into it if they are looking to develop some more practical skills, some more lab-based experience, and to have opportunities to speak to people who have been where you want to go and can tell you about how they got the t-shirt. So that's all of my reasons for continuing postgraduate study, what I chose and why I chose it. If you're considering postgraduate study, make sure to get in touch.